Any part of our bodies can get hurt, right? Any part of our body can get sick. And we have specialists for each and every part of a human being. We go to the hospital to see all those specialists of different areas. If it is the ladies and we have issues with our reproductive system, we go to see the gynecologist, right? If you're having an issue with your eyes, you'll go see a specialist. If you're having an issue with your gut system, you'll go see a specialist. The same way we can suffer physically, it is the same way our mind can fragment. And that does not make us less of believers. That does not make us less Christian. That does not make us less faith. Like, it does not mean that we do not have enough faith or even trust to this God that we serve. All right? At least let us have that agreement that the same way you can suffer any other part of your body, the same way your mind can fragment. And so the issue of stigma, the issue of hushed voices when we are talking about someone who is struggling mentally with all the mental illnesses that we will be checking into, it does not mean that person has stopped believing. It does not mean that the Holy Spirit of God has left them. And even in the Bible, in the context of the Bible, we see great men and women of God who did exploits for God. But at some point, they found themselves dealing with anxiety, dealing with hopelessness, dealing with fear, anger, all those negative emotions that sometimes overburden us. Even in the biblical context, we find great men and women of God who did exploits for him. We find them struggling. All right? Some were even struggling with self-control and issues that they could not be able to deal with. But that did not mean that God had left them. And that did not mean that God was not going to use them for the purpose that he had purposed to use them in their generation. And so when you are there as a young person, struggling with anxiety, struggling with sadness, struggling with hopelessness, that does not mean that you have stopped believing in God. And it does not mean that the God you believe in and the salvation of Christ that you profess has left you. It only makes you human in an extremely broken world that we live in. And having said that, in a nutshell, it means that there is no one is exempted. No one is exempted from struggling mentally. Nobody. And we have woken up in the recent times. We have woken up even to situations and scenarios where even men of God have committed suicide. Have you seen those news? And you ask yourself, at what point did this man of God decide to just end their life? The debate is still there because you do not know what the last minutes of his life venye waliambiana na Mungu wake. Lakini at that point, it is not for us to judge. It is not for us to say that he preached to us, he preached hope to us. He told that God, our God was capable of doing it all, and we believe it. But at that moment, he was sick. At the point of committing suicide, nobody wakes up one day and decides to commit suicide. At the point of suicidal ideation, it means that your mind is sick, and in that moment of the mind being sick, the only solution it's giving the victim is that death, ending it all, is the solution. Leaving people behind, hurting and in pain and in questions. The sick mind is telling this person they will be left actually feeling sad and angry that they led you to suicide. That's a sick mind, and we cannot judge a sick mind. And so nobody is exempted. Whether you are poor, whether you are rich, whether you are young, whether you are old, regardless of your social standing in the society, mental challenges or mental illness does not exempt anyone. Suffering mental health challenge is not a lack of faith, as I have said. It is being human in a very broken world. And God gives and strengths are eternal. And so you'll find someone who is serving in church boldly, pursuing a godly lifestyle, but they are struggling mentally because that which God has put in them, the gift of ministry that God has impacted in them, that one is eternal. That one is still there, regardless of the struggle that they are having. And in the context of the Bible, if you read the story of Elijah, after the great, whatever happened at Mount Carmel against the false prophets of Baal, after that he went into a cave. And at that point he was telling God, I am not any better than my ancestors. I would actually want to die. Yet he had done exploits for God. He had proven that he served the one true God. Yet here he was, alone, feeling so hopeless, feeling so helpless, because whatever God wanted him to achieve, he had already achieved it. But because he's still human, there's a part of him that was feeling like he's all alone. At every age, anyone can struggle with mental health, even children and teens. When the young lady was introducing me, she mentioned that I work with children, the teens, the preteens, the young adults. Even a child, even young babies as early as 3, 4, 5 years, they struggle with mental challenges. Maybe there are some unresolved traumas around their environments that they are dealing with. And so you think that a child is just quiet, and probably that child is dealing with so much in his or her young mind. There's so much that is happening up there. But not in the context of you as young people. What is happening in your lives? What is the context of the lives that you are in? Some of you are they are young in marriage. Others are, where are you? In college. Others are campus. Others are looking for a job. Others are trusting God for partners, lifetime partners. Others are looking for jobs. You are in different phases and stages in your life, right? But that does not mean that even if you are still serving in church and you are here and doing what God expects of you as a young person, you are here, you are pursuing a relationship with God, it does not mean that you are exempted. You are not exempted from all the other challenges that even those young people who are not so passionate about the God we serve, we are not exempted from them. The peer pressure to fit in what is trending and what is happening in the world. The social media pressure of what you should have done by now and what you should have achieved by this particular age. The pressure is there. And it does not mean that because you're in church, hii pressure haipati. Si hata nyinyi mko kwa social media. It is there. The fear of missing out, FOMO. You know that a particular place and space is not for you. And it is not in line with your value system. It is not in line with your belief system. But the fear of missing out. Because there's a friend telling you, kwani ni church tu utakuwa unaenda. Sasa unaenda church mpaka afternoon. See, we can go. There are so many places to go. Fear of missing out, joblessness. We have so many young people out there. And even in our midst, in our space here, they've gone to school, they've graduated, they have done so well with the academics. But there are no jobs in our country for most young people, right? And so you are at home with your degree, probably even two, but you don't have a job. You've tried your hand in business, it's not working. Is it going to leave you the same you are in your mind? Of course, so many things will happen in you. You'll be anxious. You'll be worried. You'll be sad. Sometimes you'll be irritable, angry for no reason. Ni nini? Hakuna. Nani amekukosea? Hakuna. Na ni nini? Niko tu. All that does not mean that you have stepped out of faith. Relationships. When I came in, I think you are winding up on a topic of relationships. And I think that one, there was a feeling like you didn't exhaust it, right? Because when it comes to relationships, it is a wide topic. Most of you or some of you are trusting God for a life partner at some point. But where do I start? Huh? How do I go into it? How do I convince someone that we can do life together amidst all the challenges that are happening in our generation? And we have seen breakups happening and leaving young people completely devastated, sometimes even some taking matters in their own hands, and in the heat of the moment, killing their ex-partners. And you're left wondering, si angekubali tu ameachwa? Si angekubali tu relationship imeisha? But at that point, the hopelessness and the feeling of betrayal and bitterness clouds their mind that the only solution they see at that point, it is either to end it with the person, kill them, kill themselves, and we are done. At that point, is God still on his throne? Is he still merciful? Is he still God? He is. But in that moment, the mind is completely fragmented. The mind is completely broken. Traumatic experiences. If we were all to go for session, if we were all to go for a counseling space, either with our pastor or a counselor comes and you are told, we have a safe space. There is an office here. There is a space you can go for debriefing of your traumatic experiences since the moment you got aware of who you are. I want to tell you that we would all have things that we are yet to deal with. Things that probably happened to us when we were young, or even at school. There are people who are bullied extremely, and their self-esteem was battered completely. And yet every Sunday they sit in this space, still praising God, still believing, but struggling. I am just trying to normalize mental illness and to normalize the fact that it does not make you less of a believer. As I had said that from the Bible context, we see Elijah, after everything that he had achieved, he felt hopeless, overwhelmed, scared, and actually wanting to give up. And even us, at some point in our lives as young people, you'll find yourself like feeling, no, this one I cannot go on. I don't think I can do this anymore. Actually, it's like no one sees what I do. No one appreciates. Where is my life headed? 2 or 3 years from now, where will my life be? And in that moment of anxiety and asking yourself so many questions, so much is happening up there. So what do we do when it comes to, what are the telltales? What are the things to look out for? Because we have realized that we are not exempted, right? We will find ourselves in those spaces that we are feeling our minds are not doing okay. So what do we look at? Signs to look out for. These signs that I'm going to outline down here, they do not mean that one has a mental illness, but if they persist for 2 weeks consecutively while interfering with their life, it is time to seek professional help. And before we see what the red flags to check out for in our mental wellness check, it is important to let you know that God can come through for you in different ways. He has promised us to give us his peace, that peace that the world will not give us, right? He has called us, even in his word, that come to me, all who are burdened by heavy loads, and he will give us rest. So he can actually do it, and he's able to do it. But seeking help, speaking to someone, you walking into pastor's office and bearing it out in a safe space, does not mean that you have stopped believing. All right? Checking yourself to a counselor or a psychologist does not mean that you have left Jesus, the wonderful counselor. Okay? I want to normalize mental wellness and mental care in the context of being a believer. It does not mean that you're not going to pray about it. You're going to pray about it, but probably God is going to use that counselor to help you and to come through for you. So, what are the signs? What are we supposed to look out for? Emotional changes. And we have agreed that we cannot go saying that that someone comes and tells you, hey, I've been feeling so down, I've been feeling so sad, and you tell them, I on a depression. We cannot go diagnosing each other, Cynthia. And that is why I've said that if you feel the things that I'm going to outline down here, for 2 weeks, every single day, you find yourself that this is how you are feeling. Just know that it is time to speak up, and it is time to seek help. Emotional changes, sadness, a feeling of extreme sadness, emptiness, and tearfulness. For two consecutive weeks, we unasikia tu kulia, but you don't know why. You will feel sad and a very growing sadness and emptiness inside. Today, tomorrow, for 2 weeks. That is not normal. Hii ya kuamka asubuhi feeling like, or you don't find yourself in that spaces, Pasi. Umeamka, you are awake, but you don't want to talk to anyone. You just want to be in your space. Hmm? Ladies in the house, nani amekukasirisha? Hakuna. Kwa nini huongei? Niko poa. Kuna ubaya? Mm-mm. You just want to be in that space. That is normal and that is okay. Because in the afternoon, you'll be back to your normal self. But if you feel this sadness every other day for 2 weeks, and that emptiness, it is time to seek help. Irritability, anger outbursts over small things. Just something small snaps you out. You get an overwhelming anger that even you are not able to control it. And you're actually, at the back of your mind, you're asking yourself, what is it actually making me this angry? If you find yourself in that space for 2 weeks, it's time to seek help. Numbness, emotional numbness. Someone comes and tells you something that would maybe warrant you to be emotional and to feel this is quite heavy. But you're just there, numb. You are feeling nothing. Because your emotions have been battered and battered, you're just numb. You may come across as very unkind, selfish, cold, but that you also don't know what is happening with you. You are just emotionally numb. If you find yourself in that space for 2 weeks, towards 2 weeks plus, it's time to seek help. Excessive worry, fear or panic that is overwhelming. You are just afraid. You are just in fear and panic and anxiety. You are trying to calm yourself. You are trying to calm your nerves, but you can't. Some even goes to an extent of having panic attacks, and you cannot even control them. It is time to seek help. Suicidal ideation. The moment you find yourself toying with the fact that if I took my life, who would actually even miss me? Would they even notice that I'm no longer there? And how would I do it? The moment you start letting your mind to toy with the idea of ending your life, the mind, because it is a complex organ, it will even give you options and ideas of how to carry it out. All right? And sometimes when you see people who have, the victims who have taken their lives, they usually leave even a suicide. Most of them, they leave a suicide note. And you may ask yourself, how did they write that note? And they have written good grammar. The letter can be understood exactly what they are saying. At that point, They just want to write, leave a final message, and do away with whatever they want to do away with. Their mind is lying to them. In the sick state that the mind is in, it is telling them, once you are gone, all your problems are over. They are over for you. What about those people who will be left? There's many reasons why people commit suicide. So many things, so many reasons why people take their lives. And sometimes the sick mind will tell them that I'm going to commit suicide to make them suffer guilt. I'll leave them with a lot of guilt because they made me suffer. So I'll take my life and I will leave them suffering. Constant negative thoughts. Constant negative thoughts. There's nothing positive you are thinking about. Everything that is coming to your mind is zeroing in on a lot of negativity. Withdrawing from friends, family, or even church activities. Excuse me. You realize a young lady who was active, very active in ministry. And then you realize she's no longer here. And because the society is not, we have been socialized to know that if he comes, he will always come. Maybe a job. Maybe he's taking care of some other stuff. 1 month, 2 months, and you're not checking on someone. Probably whatever is happening in their lives, they just need a call to bring them back to life. And that is why we are calling upon people who, your circle, know your circle. And it is good to check out when someone in your circle is struggling. If you cannot see them, 1 Sunday, 2 Sundays, the 3rd Sunday, she's missing in action, just check on them. You could probably be, that call or that text could be what God is going to use to bring them back from the deep cave they are in. Sleeping too much or lack of it. Sleeping too much or lack of it. And when I speak about sleeping too much, you are asleep but your mind is not rested. All right? So you are in bed. Na umefunga macho. Actually, someone coming to check on you will think you are asleep. But yes, you are asleep, deep asleep, but your mind is not rested. Or before you even catch some sleep, your mind refused to close. You know, when you are going to sleep, it is like your mind closes pole pole until you are knocked out in sleep, right? But here, when your mind is fragmented and your mind is suffering, you try to shut the thoughts and to tell the brain, hey, it's time to sleep, but it can't. It is racing and racing and racing. If you find yourself in 2 weeks in that state, of course you're even exhausted, right? You are actually very unproductive because you didn't sleep today. The following day, the 3rd day, you have sleep deficits. So by the time you get to the 4th day, you are actually very irritable, very exhausted. The mind is still going down. The mind is still going down and you need help. Neglecting hygiene, work, school, and even ministry. You've been entrusted to do 1, 2, 3 even in church. And you realize, okay, 1 Sunday not coming, that's okay. But the moment you realize that those things that you love doing, those things that they were so free for you to do, you find yourself struggling with them. You don't derive the same joy and the same satisfaction that you used to derive from doing them. Check your mental wellness and check your health. You need help. Avoiding conversations, being avoidant. You are this person who was very expressive, this person who could give their opinions and they would speak their mind. And then you realize whenever such conversations that you are so passionate about are coming up, you either walk away or you don't even want to talk about them. Mtu akijaribu kukuuliza what is happening, you are very quick to shut them because there is a space you don't want to allow them to come in. All those, if you experience those 2 weeks consecutively, it is time to seek help. But Even as we check all that, what is ailing most of us? It is what we call high functioning depression. High functioning depression. And why is it called high functioning depression? Because you see all those things that I have mentioned up there. That person who is suffering from high functioning depression, they will rarely show those signs. All right? You will rarely notice them. You even in your circle, you will not notice someone who is very sad, hopeless. No. And this is what is taking many people out in the society. Because it does, we agree that mental challenges does not discriminate, right? So you'll find even now, the men of God who went on the edge and they just ended their lives, they were in this, whereby Sunday ako hapa, fiery, preaching hope, and telling us of the love of Christ. They have it all together. The high in the society. People who are successful from the eyes, from the human eye, you can see this guy, this lady is successful. But unfortunately, this person, when they get to their own now space, akisha toka church, akisha toka job, she's the CEO, she's running a company, very successful. But the moment they hit their personal spaces, all these feelings of sadness, emptiness, hopelessness, they come crashing them down. Yet out here, no one can pick it. But now here, you need to be very much aware of yourself for you to know that, yes, I am doing everything that I need to do. I am not missing work. I am not missing school. I am not irritable. I am not sad. But when I am alone, after I have done everything that I need to do, after I have carried out all my responsibilities, there is some level of troubled mind, anxiety that I cannot even share with anyone because everyone thinks that I'm successful. So what are you anxious about really? You are successful in ministry. So what is the anxiety? Hmm? If it is Pastor Edward on Sunday, he sees his church is full and members here are good and vibrant and the church is growing. So what could really be troubling you? It needs a lot of self-awareness to know that, yes, I am doing all this, but I'm not okay. And I need to seek help. It is okay to seek help, professional help, the counselors, the psychologists, and if it gets to a point where the mind cannot be calmed through the talk therapy and the sessions, that is when someone graduates even to medication, and there is no stigma. The same way I will take blood pressure meds comfortably, I should be able to share with my brother, with my friend, and tell them, well, I haven't been doing so well. I'm actually on antidepressants. And I will say that and feel very safe that it will not be everybody's cup of tea out there. Ati ninakunywa dawa za nini? Za depression, si ndio? Seek professional help. Two, another way of dealing with all this, journaling. There are people who are very expressive when it comes to writing, but when it comes to speaking up, they will not speak much. But give them a space to express themselves, even in messages. There are people who are very good at texting, but they will never call you, right? They will express themselves through a message. Even if they will write 2 paragraphs, you will get exactly what they mean. But tell them to give you a call, that call will not even last 30 seconds. Yet when they write, they will be very expressive. If you are that person, journaling becomes a way of pouring whatever is happening inside you, because you'll be documenting each and every feeling and everything that is going on inside you. Take time to rest and offer yourself some care. And on this is what I meant with Self-care, all right? Because you can never pour from an empty cup, my dear young brothers and sisters. You can't. You can never pour from an empty cup. Mm? You can't be everywhere. And you can't be everything to everyone. All right? The moment you keep pouring and pouring and pouring in other people's cups, yours will be empty. And so you'll be running on empty. If it is in ministry, even here in church, if you don't take time, excuse me, even to sit back and if you are the passing, take time also to be ministered to, right? Because when you are being ministered to, you are also being nourished and encouraged. Whatever sphere of your life, take time to refill your cup. Whether you are a student, whether you are a young parent, whether you are a young lady, in whatever capacity of your life, take time to pour into yourself. I will not go into telling you types of self-care because everyone is unique. How I take care of myself, maybe going for a cup of coffee and sitting just alone, it is a way of self-care for me. Maybe going to the salon and having my hair done or having my nails done, it is, and forgetting that I have children, I am I am suspending responsibilities as a mom, I am suspending responsibilities as a wife to refill my cup. Every one of you, you need to define your love language towards yourself. What is it that I can do that is positive and it is helpful to me? Not to anyone. And at that point, let me ask, how many of us here are comfortable going for lunch, just going, you order food alone and you eat? How many of us can do that? If you can do that, raise up your hand. If you can actually walk into a hotel alone, order food, and eat and enjoy your own company, just alone, raise up your hand. Wow, quite a number of us. Without feeling guilty. Percy, without feeling like I should have called my sweetheart to end lunch. Hii ni yako peke yako. It is yours, your space alone. Whatever it is that you are going to define, get a self-care routine that is unique to you, whereby you'll be filling your cup. You'll be filling your cup. If you are here and you're a mentor or you are a peer counselor to the rest, go for trainings, sit back and be equipped so that you don't keep on giving out what you have, depleting yourself, and probably even the ones you are giving, they're not even appreciated. Siwe ni job tu yako unafanya. Sindio? Haya, if you're here and this past week you have received an appreciation text, an appreciation call from whichever quarters, from anybody in your life. Hi, I just wanted to thank you for ABCD. I just wanted to appreciate you for this and this. If you're here and you've been appreciated this past week for anything, raise up your hand. We have Percy here. Anyone else? Have we done things worthy of an appreciation? Kuna kitu wewe unajua umefanya that needed you to be told, at least you did this, thank you, we appreciate you. Have you done anything worth an appreciation? You know I'm a teacher, that's why I'm asking questions. Have you? You have, right? But that appreciation hasn't come. Does that mean that you stop doing what you do? Learn to validate yourself. All right? Learn to validate yourself. Don't wait until you be fed external validation, because you may wait for it and it never comes. And you don't want to turn into this bitter, resentful person, with a lot of negative energy, who will be saying, I actually do this and this for them, and they don't see it, right? Because you are waiting for external validation. Take time to define your self-care. And self-care does not mean you're selfish. All right? Going for that lunch alone does not mean that you cease to be a caring daughter, a loving son, a caring friend, a loving husband. No, you are just taking care of yourself so that you're able to take care of everyone else that you are entrusted, that is entrusted to you. And even the Bible says that love your neighbor as you love yourself. The loving of the neighbor has to come from a point of self. So that what you can do to others, you have first done it to yourself. You take care of yourself, you'll be able to care for other people. You love yourself and nourish yourself, you are able to reciprocate the same and to give it to other people. Talk to God frankly, openly, and be vulnerable. You know, sometimes we want to package ourselves in a certain way as we go to God. We want to package ourselves as, yes, we need him, but there's a way we want to package ourselves. And sometimes we even hide our inmost struggles and pains and anxieties from him. And yet he knows us, even before we can tell him. And you realize Elijah did not go out beating around the bush. He was very vulnerable with God. Huh? He told him, actually, I'm not even better than my ancestors. I would rather just die. Why would I even be alive? Hmm? He was anxious. He was hungry. And he told God, I'm hungry and I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Go to God in your vulnerability. Be vulnerable with him because he already knows the struggles that you have. If you're anxious about something, he knows. If you are hurting from that heartbreak, he knows. Okay? If you're anxious about that lack of a job, he already knows. He's just waiting for you to be vulnerable and to be frank with him. And finally, talk to someone. Talk to someone, because we cannot all be running to counselors. Every time you feel like you're struggling, therapy is expensive, right? And if you come to Kate, I'll definitely charge you. And even if I'll give you a discount because of Pastor Edward, it will not be free, right? So who is your safe space? If you have a neighbor next to you, ask them, are you a safe space? Are you a safe space? Can someone come and sit with you and tell you, check here, I'm going through this and this and this and this? Can someone entrust you with their inmost struggles without fear of being judged, shamed, and gossiped about? Because I think if there is one thing that our society and your generation and my generation we are lacking, amidst the struggles of mental wellness, it is a safe space. Because I don't know how safe I am if I share this. Will it be everybody's cup of tea? Will it be in the church context or in a Bible study or in a fellowship context? Will the person I spoke to, the brother I spoke to, the sister I shared with, are they going to break this confidentiality in a moment of prayer? Have you been in spaces where someone is breaking somebody's confidentiality through prayers? You're called to pray for families. And I had shared with you that I am struggling, some struggle that I'm having in my family. And there, as you pray for families, you mention me. And you actually mention the struggle that I'm having. Yes, you have done a noble thing. You've taken all our troubles and situations at families to God. But in that same context, in that same breath, you have broken confidence, because had I wanted to share my challenges and my struggles with the whole team, I would have come to do it during the fellowship. But I singled you out and I told you I'm going through this and this and this. And so my challenge to you as young people of this great church, my challenge is be each other's keeper and try to be a safe space for someone, so that people can normalize speaking up. People can normalize mental challenges. People can know that in our church, in our youth group, We are so well knitted together such that we are safe spaces for each other. Even before we get probably to Pasi, even before I go for counseling, I have a brother, I have a sister I can talk to, and it will not be everybody's cup of tea. Be a safe space for someone. And most of the time, people don't want to be advised. They don't want to be told what to do. Actually, most people, most of us know what exactly we want to do with our lives. We just want someone to listen, to just listen. Just listen, nothing more. Don't judge me. Don't advise me. Just listen. And in the context of being believers, we can actually pray about it. I'll go home with an easier burden. My mind will be a little bit less troubled. And that brain fog I was feeling, it will be a bit clear for me to know exactly the next step to take. Many people have been saved from committing suicide by just a phone call when they are actually on the verge of committing suicide. And they lived to tell the story that I don't know how my friend knew what I was up to. I don't know how he got to know, but that call alone, he called me and he told me he wanted to meet me and to meet me as a matter of urgency. And at that moment, I was about to commit suicide. There are people who have lived to tell a story that someone reached out. Someone called and reminded them that your life is sacred, that despite the challenges, there's a God who still cares about you. Despite the ups and downs of life, despite whatever situation that you are in, despite that troubled mind that you have, there's still a God who cares for you. And if you can just calm down, we reason together. I may not help you much, but at least a problem shared is a problem half solved. True? So let us normalize mental health awareness. Let your take home be that the same way you can break, any part of your body can get sick. It is the same thing your mind as an organ can fragment. And there shouldn't be shame in it. And even if you go and get a diagnosis that you have a full-blown depression, that does not mean that you are mad. It does not mean that you qualify to be called a madman or a mad woman. You are sick the same way someone who has a fracture is sick. And a sick person goes to seek help. Sindio? And you actually pray about it. We actually visit the sick. But when it comes to the mind, when we know someone is struggling with mental illness, we stigmatize them. We shame them. We judge them. And even in church, we don't give them that safe space that they need. And yet, should be the first place of healing. So may God help us. May God bless each and every one of you. I wish to end it at that, unless there is any reaction to it. I wish to end it at that. And remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Take time to refill your cups, all right? And may God bless you so much.